Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Truegram, and this is going to be episode 1 of a brand new project of mine. This is going to be a fairly unusual Let's Play of Pokemon Blue. Actually, kind of Red and Blue. Basically, this is going to be a post-commentated 151 Pokedex completion Let's Play. I'm doing this on real cartridges. I actually had to go out and buy a Pokemon Red cartridge because I only had a Pokemon Blue. My father actually helped me replace the batteries for the cartridges so that I would make sure that my saves were working fine. Because if you don't know, the Red and Blue cartridges and all old Game Boy cartridges and pretty much all old game cartridges in general run off of a battery to help store the saves. And so basically, my dad, who has some soldering skills, helped me solder off the batteries, and so yeah, I had to fix up some cartridges. But I am doing this on real Red and Blue cartridges. The reason why you don't see like the Game Boy player sort of outline, I guess you could call it, is because I just cropped it out. I just didn't like the way it looked, plus it made like all the game stuff small, and that's why there's the small black bars on the top and bottom. I couldn't seem to get rid of them, like no matter what I tried doing, unless I like messed with the aspect ratio, which made it all weird. So I'm just leaving those in. Hopefully they don't bother anybody too much. Yeah. And so the reason why I decided to do a post-commentary for this Let's Play is because it's going to be a very editing-heavy sort of project, I guess you could... Yeah, project works, that's a good word. Because I'm going to be showing both Red and Blue footage. I'm only going to show footage from Red when it's me capturing a Pokemon that I need to trade over to my Blue. For example, it happens a little bit later in this episode, because one Pokemon is a lot more often found in Red than it is Blue, and therefore I just decided to catch it in Red, because I was already playing Red just so that I could get to a point where I could trade over my starter, and it took like 2 extra minutes. So I decided to pop it in and throw that over. But yeah, basically I'm gonna try to edit down a lot of the footage that I have just to make it as quick as possible. For example, trading, because the trades are just monotonous and long. I actually do trade later in this video as well, but the trading is going to be, I'm going to kind of like splice in footage of all the Pokemon getting dropped out of the thing, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's examples later. And kind of the whole reason behind this Let's Play is because I just like Pokemon Red and Blue. They're great games. I actually originally started out my Pokemon career, I guess, or actually my entire video game career with Pokemon Silver as my first Pokemon game. Actually, the first video game I owned in general, and I played the heck out of it. I love it. I still own the cartridge to this day. I actually replaced the battery with this and my Crystal at the same time as me replacing my Red and Blue. Just because the save battery in my Crystal was dead, and the one in my Silver, I just didn't want it to die on me. Because I was about to start a new game in it, just because I felt like popping it in. But anyway, I digress. The reason why I decided Pokemon Blue was because I wanted to catch all 151 Pokemon. I mean, that's the whole point of the game, is you're carrying out Professor Oak's wish of completing a Pokedex with all 151 Pokemon, which is kind of ironic because Professor Oak is from Johto. At least that's what I'm pretty sure. That's what I've heard, is he's like supposed to be from Johto, and he's telling us that there's only 151 Pokemon. Which I don't know. I thought that's kind of funny. But yeah, I've always wanted to catch all 151 Pokemon, but I never did. Because I never owned Red, number one, and number two, like, when I was younger, the way I would play Pokemon games is I would just take my starter, train my starter exclusively. I'd have, like, a level 70 starter, by, like, the 6th gym, and I would have it, like, level 10 for everything else, and yeah, I could never get past the Elite Four, but by the time I got there, I would just be like, hey, I'm gonna start a new game and choose a different starter. And that's pretty much how I just played that's how I played Pokemon games. I'm really not talking about the gameplay right here, because I'm pretty sure everybody has seen the beginning of a Pokemon game. You just have to fight your rival for the tutorial battle. And then you go and fight, and then you don't fight, but you go across Route 1, you go get the Oaks parcel, you bring it back, and then you get the Pokedex and start on your adventure. So, I mean, I think it's straightforward enough. But, yeah, catching all 151 was, it's kind of a cool thing, because it's actually possible in Red and Blue, and actually in Gold, Silver, Crystal, but it requires a very extensive glitch to get Celebi. And beyond that, you can't even get all 151 Pokemon without using Game Sharks or Action Replay codes if you're using ROMs. And because it's so simple to legit get all 151 Pokemon, and I think it's just nice to have a red cartridge anyway, just because, I mean, it's Pokemon. You gotta have a good Pokemon game collection. So I wanted to get a red cartridge, and anyway, and so I figured, because since I wanted a red cartridge, and also kind of wanted a Game Boy player, I didn't own one previously, it was like, it kind of fit perfectly together for me to buy both of them, and then just do a project like this. Originally, I was considering doing something like, doing Star Fox and some other stuff, which I'm still gonna break out another Let's Play. It's gonna be kind of a shorter side one that I'm gonna upload like once a week, while I upload this 2 or 3 times a week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I actually don't think I'll be able to upload it 2 to 3 times a week, but if I try, then I'll probably get it once a week, and then I'll have a shorter side project that I'll upload. It'll be probably like 5 episodes or something that I'll upload. Actually, I won't say 5 episodes. It'll probably be somewhere from 5 to 15 episodes, because that gives me more range of games to choose from. So I'm not sure what I want to do yet for that, but it's because Portal 2 is currently, at the time this is being recorded, is on hold because of microphone issues, which are not affected when I play console games, but when I play the PC, all the mouse clicking and stuff, it affects my microphone, or it's picked up by my microphone, and until I either change the setup, or I was going to use a headset microphone, but my headset died, and so, I mean, it's all bad. I kind of just got screwed over in regards to Portal 2, partly by myself. I kind of messed it up, but yeah, anyway, I digress from that topic. There will be something new uploaded alongside of this one. I'm not too sure what, but it will be awesome. Let's say that much. Basically, what I'm gonna be doing right now, or what I did right at this point in the game, was I just decided to go buy Pokeballs and catch everything that I could on Route 1. I want to kind of try to clear out all the Pokemon that I can catch on a route, like at the route that they first appear, so that I can check them off the list as soon as possible. It'll just make keeping track of everything much easier. And so for that reason, I'm going to go down to Route 1 to catch Pidgey and Rattata, even though I could catch them later. And I'm actually going to be catching 3 Rattatas, 2 to trade over starters from my red cartridge. Both, I believe, one level 5, I think, and then one level 6, just because with one of them I won that first little tutorial battle, the other I didn't. But, so I'm gonna be trading those over with 2 of those Rattatas, and then with one of them I'm just gonna keep it so I can evolve it into Eradicate, and so that it can become a member of my member of the 151 Pokemon in my Pokedex. I'm gonna have to do that with multiple Pokemon. It'll probably end up just being like Rattatas or something. And for every repeat Pokemon, I have a nickname for them, just so that you know that just so that it's more obvious that I'm catching a repeat. Like for all the Pokemon that I'm catching that are original Pokemon that I don't have in my party yet, I'm gonna give them human names like Seth, like what I gave to the Rattata, or like Josh, or like Francis, or Aaron, you know, just like random random human names like that, because I always thought that was like kind of a fun way to nickname a Pokemon, because it makes, in a way, it makes me more endeared to the Pokemon. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't notice, or if you didn't know, the Roshi name is reference to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. It's for my Squirtle, and I do have various like regular like puns-ish stuff for Pokemon names too, but for the most part, it's gonna be like, for example, with this Pidgey, I name it Max. So I mean, it's gonna be pretty much just regular names for the Pokemon. I kind of just like doing that for some reason. Yeah, I decided that you guys didn't need to see me weakening down all these Rattatas, so I edited that out. In all, this was originally 50 minutes of raw footage, so I did kind of need to edit it down. Granted, a lot of it was like waiting for trading, and there was a little bit of grinding that was like already going to be taken out, but I did have to kind of remove a little bit of what could be considered excess, but not really sort of stuff, like me whittling down the Rattatas before I named in the. If you didn't, here's what I was talking about with the Pokemon Red switch. I go over and on Route 21, I go to catch a Nidoran, because this is where I'm going next, in blue, but I went to go trade the Rattatas already, so I decided to catch a Nidoran with my, using my, my, what is this guy's name? Charmander, there you go. And his name is a pun on the name Richard. I like using it for fire types in general, because like charred as in burned, and like rich, or Richard, like Richard. I don't know, I came up with that a while ago, and I was like, hey, that's pretty clever. So I decided to continue to use it, especially for Charmander, because it's like charred as in burned, and char as in Charmander. So it makes even more sense in that case, and the name for the Nidoking right now is, or the name for it's not a Nidoking right now, it's a Nidoran male. I almost said Nidoking male, which just, it makes no sense. But yeah, so now basically I go to trade, and as you can see, I accidentally, there's a Squirtle for the A, which is the name that I gave the red cartridge before I started the new game, and I had a Bulbasaur with that one. The timeline's all messed up, but basically just know that I was initially trying to trade a Rattata for a Bulbasaur, but I accidentally traded Squirtle, and so then I came to trade for the Rattata for the Squirtle to get that back to the true Gram file. That's the star of the show. As far as party members go, I'm not really too sure who I'm going to use, because I'm going to be catching all 151, so I haven't really put much thought into it. I am going to be using one of the Pokemon that I get in this episode, but only one. I'm not sure about others. I think I know 2 Pokemon, because there's one that I want to use just because I haven't really used it much. Actually 2 of them that I want to use because I haven't really used much. And maybe a third just because I like it a lot. Actually, I think I know 4 of my party members, including Squirtle. This was what I was talking about as far as splicing in footage. As you can see, the original trainer was red, because that was from a different red cartridge. And then that was from when I had the Richard, and then I spliced that in again, because that was when that was the Nidoran male that I caught. And here we go for Route 21, I believe. This is 21 or 22. I can't remember. I think 21. If I'm wrong, it'll say 22 on screen. But basically, because we can catch Spearows, and we can catch both types of Nidorans, but the female are a lot more prevalent in Pokemon Blue, and males a lot more in Pokemon Red. So I just decided to catch one in Red, because I was going to go train there anyway, because I wanted to do the optional boss battle, which will be showed later in the episode in Pokemon Blue. I didn't show it in Red, because the only reason why I'm playing through Red, or like getting through most of Red at this point, is because there are 2 Pokemon that I need to get before doing other stuff. Basically, because there's evolutions, and for that reason I need to, because I need to get EVs, because you can't breed in first generation. I don't know if you guys knew this. And and by the way, you should take note of this Spearow nickname, because it's beautifully fitting. because Pirates of the Caribbean, even though I don't really like the movie, I think it's a Jack Sparrow. Like, that's just perfect. And yeah, here we find a Nidoran female, another perfectly fitting nickname for this, which you should take note of after I capture it. But as I was saying, I need to get the evolutions, or I need to get the Eevee so I can trade that over for evolution, and then I'm still gonna need to start a new game so that I can trade over another Eevee, and also for the either Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan, depending on which one I get in blue. I have to get the other one in red. I don't really plan on using either one in my party, so I don't think it matters which one I choose for which. But I may decide, hey, I feel like using it, and then start using it. You never know. But at this point, I have no plans on using it. Also, so that I need to catch a couple guys, Machoke, I need a Machoke in red to trade it over to blue so that it can evolve into Machamp. And then I also need what's it called? Same thing with Alakazam, or not Alakazam, but Kadabra to evolve into Alakazam. And then the region exclusives, off the top of my head, I can think of Scyther is red exclusive, and Electabuzz is red exclusive. So I do need to get those guys all traded over. And so yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I'm playing through red right now, kind of off screen, because if I played through red on like all of that on screen, I'd have to start a new game anyway. The only on screen stuff is going to be when I get the Pokemon like Eevee, or I catch an Electabuzz, or get the Scyther. Any of that stuff, it's gonna go on to it's gonna go into the videos. But other than that, it's just gonna be, it's the same game. Like, nothing really changes from red to blue, especially because it's like the same generation. There's nothing mechanically different. I think there's like there's different Pokemon that your rival has based on what Pokemon you choose, but other than that, there's really no difference and no reason for me, at least no decent reason for me, at least for what I feel, to get a new Pokemon. And here we battle blue if you're playing red if you're playing blue. If you're playing the Japanese red, it's green. Some people say it's Gary. It's apparently not. It looks a lot like motherfucking Oak, and continuity-wise, it would make sense that it would be motherfucking Oak. But Pokemon Timeline is not really specific, and I really don't think it should matter, because, I mean, think about the story of the game. You are collecting Pokemon, putting them in a computer, just like plugging them into a computer, so that you can make a digital encyclopedia. They can only register their information after you put them into a ball, because an old man wants you to. So basically, the whole point of the game is fuck it, thug life. Like, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I love the Pokemon games, but story has never been their strong point. Even in Black and White, where it's supposed to be like more sort of complex, I found the story was like too, oh yes, be a good person, love everyone kind of thing, and I was just like, no, just let me capture Pokemon and fuck shit up. Yeah, but yeah, the strategy for dealing with this Bulbasaur is basically bring in Charles, because he has Leer, and Leer Bulbasaur until he is, until Charles died, and then bring back in Roshi, because he doesn't have because halfway through the battle, I remembered that, Bulbasaur doesn't learn any grass-type moves besides Leech Seed until, I think, level 13, when he learns Vine Whip. I guess you can't say he or she, because there's no genders in Generation 1. I don't know if you guys ever realized that. Except for with Nidoran. Nidoran actually has gender. But I never noticed that there was no genders, and I always thought you could breed, but then I realized you couldn't breed. And so I don't know if you trade a Gen 1 Pokemon to Gen 2, whether or not it has a gender. It's like assigned one, I don't know. I'm gonna have to test that out now because I'm very curious. I guess I'm gonna have to start playing or start a new game in my my silver, because since if you replace the battery in a cartridge, all the data gets erased, and I haven't started a new game in silver yet. Basically, the only games that I started new games in after I started new games in all of them after I replaced the cartridge. Or the battery of the cartridge, just to see if they would save. But yeah, anyway, that's gonna conclude this episode of Let's Catch All 151 Pokemon in Blue. We pretty much finished it the only way I know how, by fucking up Gary. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one, where hopefully we can catch, I believe we caught 9 Pokemon this episode. Let's catch 9 more. How about that?